Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting MacWhisperer live broadcast. It's great to have everybody here today. I'm Frank. You ever felt that your iPad is just collecting dust? Maybe you've tried using Pages, but never quite clicked. Well, today's your lucky day. We're going to be diving deep into iPad Pages on the iPad, exploring how to create, edit, and format documents like a pro. Whether you want to write reports, design flyers, collaborate with ease, we've got you covered. As always, stick around for Dylan's power tip, amazing tricks to take your Pages workflow to the next level. And you'll have an opportunity to download, of course, the Smart Guide, your go-to reference for mastering Pages on the iPad and everything else. So, as usual, let's engage. Let's see where you guys are at. Throw some questions in there. Say hello, you live loungers. Let's see what you want to be uncovering today on Pages on your iPad. So we're going to be starting by formatting and editing like a pro, using iPad Pencil. Get your power tips, Q&A with Dylan. Let's bring him in without further ado. There he is.
Hello, hello.
Excellent. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to share what I've learned about Pages on the iPad with you. And I want to tell you before we kind of jump into everything, my favorite thing about what I get to do is when someone asks me something I don't know the answer to. It's like my favorite thing in the world because all of a sudden I've got to learn quickly so that I can show them how to do it. The truth is, there's more technology out there than any one person can ever completely know. It's just this never-ending list of tools and tips and features and functions. And every time you think you've got it handled, there's a new upgrade or a new update or a new option. Apple just released a brand new app 2 days ago. I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn that too. So I just want to say, whoever it was, I believe it was Jocelyn, but whoever it was that requested tips on how to use the Pages on the iPad, thank you. The last 2 days have been nothing but my learning how to do it because I hadn't really used it before. So we're ready and I'm going to jump in and show you what I've learned in the last couple of days and get you up to speed on what you can do on your iPad.
Before you do that, we opened up another 100 pages for the workshop this weekend. Do we want to give everybody the link? Tell them what's going on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why don't you share the link? I'll go ahead and explain what we're talking about here so we're all on the same page.
There we go.
One of the problems with technology is that it swallows time. It's like a sinkhole that just keeps grabbing your time left and right. And I've identified three major applications that are the biggest problem in stealing time. I believe if you learn to use your technology properly, you can use it to create time, to manufacture time, to do anything you want to do. But if you don't, it's just going to keep stealing time. Are you tired of juggling your emails, trying to figure out how to get through all of the junk and actually see things that are important? Are you lost with iMessages and junk spam texts that keep coming in and infiltrating your nice, clean conversations? Are you overwhelmed with duplicates in your address book and your address book is slow and the wheel spins and it crashes on you and you don't really know what to do about it? We're going to put these three tips back to back to back with each other so that you can learn how to create time rather than losing time in your communication tools. And this is a free workshop. We're going to be starting it tomorrow, Friday. Are we 12 Pacific time, Frank? Is that right?
Yeah, 12 Pacific.
Yeah. It's literally on the screen in front of me. I could have looked in front of me to see that, but I didn't. We're going to be starting tomorrow. That's scrolling. We're going to be starting tomorrow, Friday at 12 o'clock, continuing on Saturday and finishing up on Sunday. It's 1 hour each day. It's completely free. If you've ever wanted to get a handle on these tools and take back your time, join us starting tomorrow. All three sessions work with each other, so it's really recommended that you show up live all 3 days. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to talk about features and functions that you didn't know existed in these apps. We've got some power tips for you, and it's just a lot of fun. I love doing these workshops, and I'm really excited to bring this one. I will say, if you can't make it live, register anyways, because we'll be sending replays out at the end of every day. But if you do miss a class, please watch the replay right away because A, you'll want that information for what happens the next day, and B, the replay is not going to be up forever. We've got a limited time on this replay, so make sure when you get that first email, you jump right in and get yourself caught up and ready to come on live the next day. I hope to see a lot of you guys there, and I'm really looking forward to bringing these tools and tips to you.
It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. It's always fun, Frank. It's always fun.
I really love the workshops. It's great to see everybody, new faces and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess we should also say that the workshops are different from what we're doing here because the workshops are held on Zoom where we can interact with each other in a much better way that feels much more like the live classes that I teach regularly, and I'm giving that to you guys completely for free to really, really help supercharge your technology and your capabilities.
All right.
Awesome.
Pages. You gonna give a little intro
here? Yeah, I'm absolutely going to just jump in here on Pages, and then we're going to talk about it a little deeper. A lot of people use Microsoft Word on their computers, but you really can't use Word easily on the iPad or the phone. I mean, you can, but it's clunky. It's not made for those devices, and Microsoft makes so many functions and features in Word and those tools that on the iPad it's just impossible to navigate around. If you've struggled with that, you might have uncovered Pages. Pages is Apple's free word processing app that exists on the computer, the iPad, and the phone, completely free, and does 99.9% of what Microsoft Word does, giving you all the tools, none of the cost, none of the complication. But where it really shines is what makes Apple different from Microsoft or Google or any of these other tech companies. All of Apple products talk to each other through iCloud seamlessly and automatically, which means you can be writing your greatest American novel at home and then get on a plane, pull out your iPad, and continue writing and just put the pieces together. I was playing with the iPad on Pages yesterday, and I thought to myself, this is really easy on this device. I wonder if it's as easy on the phone. And I pulled out my phone and my jaw dropped. It was everything we're going to talk about on the iPad today, you can do it on your phone too. So if you don't have a current iPad and you're like, I want to follow it, download Pages on your phone and you'll go, I can do that from my phone. And then you'll go, I guess I'm canceling that Microsoft subscription. I guess that money's coming back in my pocket because there's just no need. And it's really the simplicity of the synchronization that makes this tool and the Apple ecosystem the gift that keeps on giving. So let's hop over to the screen share. I'm going to give you a couple of basics first, and then we'll go a little deeper and a little deeper. My pro tips are scattered throughout the video today, so just be on the lookout for them. Also, you'll notice that the screen that we've got has a computer. Don't be confused. We're not on the computer. We're on the iPad. It's just that the screen for the iPad was malfunctioning, and this was our solution. So here we are on my iPad. The first thing we want to do is jump right into Pages. This is Pages right here. Let me grab my annotation tool somewhere. Maybe not. I don't see it. Here it is. There it is. Sometimes it's very, very hard for me to manage multiple screens like this. So you should see my Pages app right there, and I'm going to go ahead and click right on it. When you first open up Pages, you're going to be greeted by this screen, and this screen gives you the options of opening recent documents, which is what you can see right here. Hang on, let me grab that annotator a little bit closer. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. I need to be able to see you and my screen. All right, that'll work. Okay, so if you'll see right here, you've got this recent section. That's going to show you any documents that you've recently worked on from any of your devices. You might notice that there's some documents here that are already on here. These were on my computer that I was working on the other day, but they're here on the iPad ready for me to get into. I can also click on the shared section in the middle right here, and that shared section is for collaboration. Like Google Documents, you can collaborate on Pages in real time, and here's where those documents show up automatically. And then over to the right, you've got the Browse section. And the Browse section will allow you to open from anywhere inside of iCloud. So if you use iCloud for your storage, you can easily come in and grab stuff off your desktop or anywhere in your file system. But I'll talk to you in a few minutes about how you can even go in through Dropbox or Google Drive and pull those documents into Pages as well. So even if you're not using iCloud Drive, you can still get documents into Pages right off your iPad, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Up at the top, we've got two separate options. We've got this option here that says Start Writing. And guess what happens when you click that button, Frank? What do you think happens?
I took myself off mute. Maybe you can start writing?
Yeah, you can start writing. It's amazing. It's as if Apple keeps things simple for us dum-dums. I click that button, I immediately get a blank page, and I'm ready to start going. Obviously without the red arrow, but I'm ready to start going, I'm ready to start typing, and ready to get into things. You can click your back arrow in the upper left-hand corner to leave the document that you're in and get yourself back onto this screen. And there's another option underneath Start Writing called Choose a Template. Now there's two different reasons people use Pages. One is, I just need a basic word processing doc to write letters and notes and grocery lists and all those kind of things. I hope you use the Notes app for many of those things, but there's times you need better formatting, and Pages is a great tool for it. But what really shines are the templates. So I'm going to go ahead and click onto the Choose a Template button here and show you what kind of, did I miss the button? I must have missed it. There we go. That looks better. That looks right. And so you'll see here all sorts of different sections with all sorts of different pre-configured templates. And you'll see things like make a book if you want to make a book in either portrait or landscape. You're able to build resumes, flyers, posters, newsletters, all sorts of things right here, easy for you to do. Now I'm going to drop my first MacWhisperer power tip right here because here's where it belongs. There's only so many templates in the Apple Pages template maker. You can modify and create your own templates, but sometimes that's more work than I want to do, which is where I found this awesome app right here. It's called Templates. It's a very affordable app. It's $30 a year or $5 a month, and for that you get access to an extremely large and growing library of templates. I'm going to click on it just to show you what we're talking about here. And you will see all sorts of templates. Templates in different collections, templates in different styles, different ways to do them, whether it's resumes, whether it's letters, whether it's magazines, anything that you might want to create, they've got a template for it here. And again, this is a paid app. But the paid app is $5 a month and $35 a year or $50 as a one-time lifetime payment. If you create a lot of templates and work with them, this is a game changer. I was playing around with this just to kind of figure out what my options were going to be for what we talked about, and I was blown away by some of the things I didn't realize they had. All sorts of cool resumes, all sorts of tools, and even magazine options where you could build a magazine right from your iPad using Pages. When you find a template that you like, let me find one that I like. Let's use, I want to go back into the magazine one because I thought that was really awesome. Oh, it doesn't want me to do that. Come on. Okay, well, regardless, I'm going to keep going on here. Would love to find that magazine, but I have it saved. I'm going to click on one of these. It opens the template up so that I can get a good bird's eye view of what it looks like. And then by clicking on the open button in the upper right-hand corner here, it'll download that and allow me to open it right into Pages. And you'll notice that Pages is right here on this screen. If you don't see Pages, you might have to scroll a little bit. I customized mine to make it easier. And when you click on Pages, it's going to take that document and add it right into your templates. And here's the fun part. Let's just think about this. Not that I want to take money away from any company that does good work, but if you buy the $5 a month plan for this template app, you can then immediately grab all the templates you want, save them into your templates in Pages, and cancel the subscription, which is pretty easy. The app is called Templates. You may want to say Pages Templates when you search for it in the App Store because there were a lot of options. This one happened to pop up to the top for me, but it might not for you. So I'm going to go back into Pages here, and we're going to go into one of the templates that I pulled over from this app, this magazine template right here. And oh, I actually don't need to do that because I've got it in my templates already. Here it is right here, saved and ready for me to get into. And when it opens up with this template, but with the ability to change anything you want to on this template. Now, because we're in landscape view, I want to talk about a couple of quick tips that I learned in playing around with this. My first tip is it's better if you've got an external keyboard. And the reason is because when I come in to edit stuff like this, and it goes to bring up my keyboard, it takes up half my screen, meaning that without an external keyboard, it gets a little clunky. So moving forward, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my external keyboard so I can get into it a little bit more easily. The other thing I've learned is that flipping between landscape mode, which is side by side, or vertical mode, which is up and down, makes a really big difference. When I'm working on it and looking at something, having the extra space of landscape made it easier. But when I wanted to get a better view of everything, turning it into portrait view allowed me to see the whole image at a time, especially because this particular document is vertically oriented. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this onto my keyboard case here. I use an Apple keyboard case, but I also really like the Logitech one. And that means that when I come inside of editing, it no longer needs to take up the space with the keyboard because I've already got a keyboard plugged in. We're also going to talk in a few minutes about the Apple Pencil, so stay tuned for that because there's some really cool tools you can do. And one of the things, people are always saying, why would I want an iPad? An iPad's just a big phone. It's just a small computer. It sits somewhere in the middle. And what I try to tell people is, even though all of Apple's devices work with each other, they each have a different purpose. The phone fits in your pocket. Your iPad's not going to fit in your pocket. Your computer's not going to fit in your pocket. Your computer has massive functionality, the ability to connect to all sorts of accessories and monitors and keyboards and all these other tools, making it a powerhouse for work. But the iPad has the pencil. And the pencil allows you to write and draw, whether you're an artist or whether you're taking notes, directly onto the iPad. And it works really well within Pages. We're going to talk about it in a moment, but I want you to understand that's the differentiator for the iPad. The iPad is not just a big phone. It's a big phone that you can write on, which is beneficial. So when you're working with the templates here, everything that you've got on your screen is modifiable. So if I like this magazine, but I don't like this UPC symbol that I see over here, I can click on it and I can delete it. If I don't like that it says magazine, which of course I don't, I can come in. I'm going to start by making the text a little bit smaller so I don't overwhelm myself. We're going to come in and we're going to make the first episode of the first issue of the MacWhisperer magazine. And we'll select our text here. Using the format button down at the bottom, I'm going to be able to increase the size of this. We'll go up to 64. And then I can take this little line and just kind of move it so that it's right where I want. You can see another line here. I don't want that. I can just delete that. And you can customize everything really easily. In addition to that, by pinching your fingers together, you can change the view entirely so you can see more of this image on your page. And while you're in here, again, you can click on anything and move it or change it, which is where we're going to drop one of my other MacWhisperer power tips right here. In many cases, when you're working with stuff on Pages, you may need to grab things in groups, things that are clumped together. So if you'll see here, I've got this apostrophe 12 selected. I'm going to tap on it, and one of the options that shows up says Select Objects. When you click that, it'll allow you to select additional objects inside of this template, allowing me to click, making it really hard. Let's see, there we go. Allowing me to click both the black circle and the 12. Now with both of these things selected, I'm going to click the Done button on the bottom here, and I'm going to click Group. That will immediately combine these objects so that now I can move these objects together instead of them being separated. It makes it really, really easy for us to be able to do that because in a lot of cases you're moving pieces around and you want certain things to stick with each other. So I'll show you again. We're going to go ahead and tap on this, and I'm going to click where it says Select Objects. And then down at the bottom, you'll see to select or deselect, tap it, or drag across them, which means I can use my finger to drag across multiple items, selecting all of them together, click the Done button, and then click Group. And now all of those objects can move at the same time, making it even easier for me to do whatever it is that I'm trying to do, which I think is super cool and super easy to work with. In addition to all of that, and let's come in here, hold on, let's get all of our objects selected. I'm going to ungroup them. What happened there? Done. Try and ungroup them. Ungroup everything. Okay, so now one of the other things we need to do is we need to change this picture because clearly that's not me, right? I mean, he's got hair on his head. That's clearly not me. So there's a lot of ways that you can work with images. The first way is coming up to the top toolbar here, you're going to see this little icon at the top of the two photos. Clicking on that can allow you to go into your photo library and grab any picture you want and drop it in. So I'm just going to come right here and we'll grab this picture here and it's going to drop it right on the page. You can also drag and drop over images in templates and it'll overwrite them. So let me see if I can make that work. I'm going to actually back out of here and reopen it. I'm doing that because when I group things, I grouped one too many things, which screwed me up. When you're inside of here, down at the bottom of any of the templatized photos, you're going to notice this plus button. This plus button makes it easy for you to swap out a picture. Clicking the plus button allows you to take a picture, choose a photo, or even use Image Playground. This is MacWhisperer Pro tip number 3, I think. If you have Apple Intelligence on your iPad or your phone, you have the ability to create images right here. So I can click where it says Image Playground, and it's going to take the image that's selected of this, this hairy dude, and I'm going to come down to the bottom left corner. I'm going to click Dylan. That replaces that, and I'm going to give it a little bit of information. And just say on a computer and let it process that information as well. It's going to take those two prompts and immediately give me some images that I can work with, and I can swipe through them to find the one that I like the best. Now obviously not everybody likes artificial intelligence, not everybody wants to use art that was generated by a computer. I'm going to click cancel on this. In this case I've got my own photo. I'm going to click the plus button, choose photo or video, and then I'm going to go into one of my albums here, grab the picture that I want. Immediately, we've got our first magazine cover, and I can go right in and change any of the text, any of the images, anything I want super, super easily. And now that we've put that picture in, it's starting to look a little more like a MacWhisperer magazine. Let's take a quick break, Frank, and check in with our people. You got no audio.
Oh, thank you. Did you like my little sound effect?
Yeah, it was silent.
Oh, you didn't hear the sound effect? Okay. Let's see. I'm going to remind everybody to start putting in your questions because we're going to be taking those later. But let's talk about the YouTube membership.
Absolutely. So I want you guys to take a look in the chat. You're going to see a number of people in the chat with this little Apple icon to the right side of their name. These are the YouTube members who are currently on this chat. YouTube allows me to create memberships from 99 cents, all easier for me to provide content like this to you on a regular basis. In the near future, we may stop doing these free live broadcasts and instead only do them for our members. But for the time being, this is for everyone, and it's an opportunity for you to experience what we get to do. But if you love what we get to do, if you love my channel, if you love my videos, and you want to make it easier for me to continue to do this, subscribing with a monthly subscription of 99 cents, $5, $10, or $20 goes a really, really long way. And I want to thank every one of the members that's here today. I love that you're here. I love that you're supporting me. And I love that we get to work together to help make your technology better. The more support that I receive, the more time I'm putting into videos. And I'll tell you, I got 2 or 3 YouTube videos that are rocking and ready to roll. And it's solely because I didn't have to run around crazily last week because of your support. So thank you for that. You can click you can hit the QR code, or you can go to my YouTube channel and click the join button. We're over 55 members. I'm going to be scheduling my monthly members only stream later today, probably for next weekend since we've got the workshop this weekend. But I'd love to see you there. And if you'd like to participate in that kind of a live stream, it's a little more intimate, it's a little bit more laissez-faire. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to have you showing up. We're having our audio issue again, it looks like. Let me see if I can switch my audio.
Interesting. Well, the levels are fine on this end.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's different, but I can hear you.
Okay. Hopefully it continues to work better. All right, somebody else said the audio was good for them. We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it. We're going to trust that it's working. Okay, so that's my YouTube membership. I'd love to have your support. I can't do it without you. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining this membership, and let's jump back over to the iPad and get to the next page.
absolutely.
All right, so here we are in our MacWhisperer magazine, and now we're going to talk about a couple of the formatting features that you need to understand on the iPad. Before we do, I want to give a really, really brief overview of the tools that you see at the top. First of all, in the far left corner, let me make sure I've got my annotator up here. In the far left corner, you've got your back arrow that takes you out of the document you're in and back to the document chooser. To the right of that, you've got your sidebar, and your sidebar can be used to bring up your page thumbnails. In a big document, this is really helpful for allowing you to jump through your pages without scrolling endlessly. On a short document like this, you might want to turn it off and save that extra space. Over here, we've got the name of your document. If you click on the name of your document here, you'll see all sorts of options, including the document options, the ability to rename, the ability to move, and more. I'm going to see if I can fix that audio, Frank. Hang on a second.
Yeah, again, I'm not seeing anything on this end. And some people are saying it's okay, others are experiencing some issue.
Turned off Dropbox. We'll hope that helps. This is what we've got, people. If it continues to be a problem, I've got people saying they can't hear every other word, which is really problematic. Let me see if I can switch it around. Hold on.
I'm curious, is it both of us, everyone? Is it just Dylan? Is it happening for both he and I?
All right, so I've now changed to a different microphone. Hopefully that works better. I'll be careful about where I'm positioning myself so I don't talk over here where you definitely won't hear me. Let's keep going. So when you click on the title at the top here, it makes it easy for you to change the name of the document, move it, or export it, which is important if you want to send this out to other people. Across the top here, we've got a bunch of tools. If you have your iPad vertical instead of horizontal, all of these tools are collected together in a section underneath the plus button. So you won't see these tools when you're in vertical. You'll see the plus button instead. So don't text me and say, I don't see those tools. They're under the plus button when you're vertical. If there's just more space horizontally. This tool can allow you to create a table of contents. This tool can allow you to import a table. This tool can allow you to import a chart. This is shapes. And this tool here is photos. On the far right side, we've got share, we've got undo, and we've got format. And format is what we're going to talk about in just a second. It's really the most important piece here. You've also got some additional options underneath the three dots. And if you want to see what your document will look like outside of edit mode, if anybody else sees it, this is the preview button that will show you the final version that you're working on. Fantastic. Sounds like we fixed our audio. See? We can fix things. All right, so here's where things get a little bit more complicated. I'm going to go ahead and zoom ourselves in, and we're going to grab this chunk of text right here. When you're working with text on the iPad or on the computer in Pages, you need to be able to format it. And there's a lot of different ways that you can format it. But the key point is this little paintbrush icon you've got on the top here. When you click on that paintbrush icon while you're selected on things, you're going to see three separate sections. The first section is called Style. Style is very important for when you're working with text. It can allow you to create text boxes or adjust the different ways your text looks. In the middle, you've got the text options, which allow you to change bold, italic, underline, change your font, change your size, change your color. up at the top, you're going to notice this section that says paragraph style. And paragraph style, oh, don't want me to change that? Hold on, it's off there. And paragraph style can allow you to customize a specific style and come back to it anytime you want. If I click on the little arrow for paragraph style, I'll see all the existing styles that I've already pre-configured. Clicking on any one of them will change what's selected. You saw it turn red. Here it goes into a caption style or a title style. By customizing your styles and saving them here, you can immediately format something without having to remember what font that was or what size it was. You can save your format, you can save your paragraph styles easily in this area here by creating a new paragraph style and clicking on the plus button in the upper left-hand corner to program it in and give it a name. I can't express enough how important styles are. Styles are a clearly valuable piece of working on pages so that you don't have to keep starting over again and again and again every time you're working with stuff. And over to the far right side of the format section, we've got something called a range. And a range is what you're going to use to move things around on different layers. For example, if I wanted this little 12 to be behind that circle, I can press on the 12, click on the format, and then up in the top, I can move it backwards or forwards by adjusting this slider here. And you can also adjust it a little bit more manually by coming into the document itself and tapping on it and moving it around from here, but I find it much easier to do it from the format button itself. Yeah, it sounds like we've got massive audio issues going on. I'm really sorry, guys, if the audio's not working for you. We'll do some work this week to figure out what that issue is. We've had it a couple of times in the last broadcasts, and I like to have everything be clean and perfect, but we're running through a streaming app that may be causing a little bit of an interference between where I am in Los Angeles and where Frank is in New Jersey. So if the audio is not working for you, I'm really sorry. It's hard for me to fix it while we're working here. We've tried the tools that worked last time, and we're not having the same issues that we had last time. But I am going to take one more try, Frank. I'm going to stop the share and restart it and see if that helps. So let me try that real quickly.
Sure. I'm going to dig into the recording later, see what might be happening, because it could be the way that your signal's being received by certain people.
I think I figured out the problem.
Oh yeah?
I think I found it. We're going to see if that works. All right, so Frank, you should be able to grab that image. Hopefully you can pull it up there. Perfect.
Yep.
If we've solved the problem, please let us know, because now that I saw that setting, I may know what caused it in the past, and I'm hoping that it's working properly now. Anyways, I'm going to just keep going because we've got other stuff to talk about. Everything that you're working with, you have formatting tools for. So I'm going to get out of this document, and we're going to create a brand new document by Start Writing. And in this document, I'm going to go ahead and add some photos. I'm going to do it by clicking on the photo icon up at the top here and choosing photo or video. Again, this allows me access to all of the photos in my library, where I can come in and grab any picture that I want, tap on it, and bring it right into the image here. Now, one of the really cool, and this is another MacWhisperer power tip, one of the cool features that exists within Pages and a lot of the Apple tools is the ability to automatically remove a background. So I'm going to press and hold on this image here, and up at the top you should see the Remove Background button. Clicking that takes everything but me and my kitty cat out of the image. I understand that's a weirdly filtered image, but it allows me to move that over to one side. We're going to go back into our photos here and grab another photo. In this case, we're going to come over here and grab that one right there and pull it right in. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, pressing and holding on it and choosing Remove Background. Now, what I can do is I can take these images, and you'll notice these images are moving out of each other's way a little bit. When I move this one over, the other one is getting covered up. So what am I going to do if I want to have the one in the background pop forward? It's easy. I'm going to tap on that background image, just like that, click on my Format button on the top, and just move it in front. You can also resize any image by pulling on the blue dots that you see all the way around that image. So by using these tools, you can easily move things around. Now we'll notice that this image on the left keeps kind of moving out of the way for some reason. I'm going to show you why. We're going to go ahead and click on it, go back to our formatting tools, and here, down at the bottom, there's a section where it says Move with Text. That section and the text wrap section right below it are what's causing these images to dance around each other. So first off, I'm going to turn off the text wrap completely, and I'm going to turn off Move with Text. That then allows me to really move these things around without them bumping into each other at all. We can also come in and grab any kind of text that we want. Coming right down here, we can just type anything in, copy anything, paste anything over, which is where we're going to take a quick stop on another MacWhisperer power tip. This one's super, super, super important. The iPad is small. It's not a computer. Moving between multiple apps can be really, really problematic. And it's very easy to solve that problem by entering a split screen mode. To enter split screen mode, you're going to slightly pull up on the bottom of your screen until you see your dock. Press and hold on the app that you want and drag it over to the right or the left side in order to split the screen so that your pages can be on one side and your photos can be on another, allowing you to literally just drag and drop anything over between the two. Now, I happen to be doing this specifically with photos because that's what I clicked on, but you don't have to. You can actually do this. Oh, I really messed up that photo. Let's click the undo button on that. But you don't really have to do it with photos because I can also come up here and go into Files and drag Files over and go into any document that I've got on Files, and I can then move those documents in as well, either opening them up so that I can get a good look at what's in there and selecting it, press and hold, and literally just drag it right over, and you can take anything from one document into another. You can also copy and paste, but the problem with the iPad again is not everybody's got a keyboard where they can hit the key codes for copy and paste. So it's important to know that anytime that you are inside of a document, and let's grab another document off my desktop here. Anytime you're inside of a document, you can select whatever text you want, press and hold on it, and literally just move it right into the other document and then position it wherever you want. When you're done grabbing things from your split screen, grab the little button in the middle of the screen and pull it over to go back to your full screen mode where you can continue to work on your document without having the other app. Now, the reason I bring this up is because there's a lot of things that you might want to bring into a document. For example, you might want a picture from a web page or something from email or something from Files, and it's really, really problematic to get it without that split screen tool. So I'm going to take a quick pause and let Frank catch up. And I would love to hear if the audio is now working. I got a bunch of people saying yes. Hopefully we're better than we were before, and I now know what caused it.
It's good stuff. Let's see. Let's give, I almost forgot about the smart guide. Let's do the smart guide.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
This one is about pages in general and not just for the iPad itself. So this is going to be able to turn everybody on to all sorts of different things that how they can utilize pages. Again, this is our gift to you, everybody. Download it, use that QR code. You can use the short URL as well. Share it with your friends. Let them know what's happening here and a good time that we're having. And again, the team just loves generating them. So your interest is spearheading all sorts of creativity and a great buzz with the team.
I'll also go ahead and say that I am now, thank you to whoever suggested me learning how to work on the iPad. I have as of right now, started working on a YouTube video specifically for what we're talking about today, how to use pages on the iPad. And once that video is done, I'll have a cheat sheet that is iPad specific. This one's a little bit more general about the tools that you've got, and it was based on the computer, so you may not be able to translate what you see here to the iPad, but with the things we've talked about today, you're going to be much more familiar on the iPad, and you should be able to make make this cheat sheet work perfectly, but I promise you there's another one in the near future that'll have all of the tips that you've got today coming to you.
It's great stuff.
Jeff, welcome to Mac Mini. Thank you for being a member. I really appreciate you trusting me and hopping on board, and I can't wait to learn more about you and really connect with you. Thanks for coming, Jeff.
Welcome, Jeff. All right, everybody, let's get starting to get your questions in the comment area. We're going to be moving into that in a little while, but I think you got another segment for us, don't you, Dylan?
Yeah, I got two quick things that we're going to talk about that I think you guys are really going to like. I'm going to do them quickly. Did that wrong. I'm going to go into split screen to get another photo over here.
That's wild. It's wild how you can drag whatever you want right into.
Isn't that
pages.
Great?
I love it.
Yeah, you want to know what's really crazy? If you do it right, you can go from the computer directly to the iPad. There's tools that allow you to drag and drop and copy and paste from the computer over, which makes things really easy.
Wow.
So we're going to grab this picture here. I'm just going to drag it over here. We're going to go ahead and pull it over. Oh, come on. There we go. Get all the way over there. And what we're going to talk about right now this is for Manny. So Manny, if you're still here, if you stuck out with the audio issues, this one is for you. One of the cool things that you can do really easily with Pages is called creating a mask. And what creating a mask means is you're taking a photo and you're putting it inside of a particular shape. So in this case, I'm going to click on the Shapes button up at the top, and I'm going to grab myself a circle, and I'm going to drop that circle right over my face like that. Now what I'm going to do is tap on the circle and click where it says Select Objects. I'm now going to select the photo behind it, so I've got both the shape and the photo selected, and I'm going to click the Done button. Now from this pop-up screen that we have here, I can click Mask with Shape and click Done, and we have automatically created that photograph in a circle. And thank you, Manny, because I would have never gone looking for that tool if you hadn't asked the last time I did an iPad lesson. Good job, Manny. Appreciate you. So that's one of my other MacWhisperer power tips. And the last one I want to talk about is I want to talk about the pencil for just a moment. It's great to be able to use your pencil on your iPad. It's a really easy thing to do. You can just come in and draw essentially directly on anywhere. But there's a really important setting that I uncovered that makes it easier. And that setting's underneath the three dots in the upper right-hand corner here where it says Settings. And if you'll scroll down, you'll see that there is an option for the Apple Pencil to use it to select and scroll. And what that means is if you've got fat fingers, I've got fat fingers, you can use your pencil instead of your finger in order to select anything and move it easily around, which in my opinion is the best way to use the Pages on the iPad. If you are going to use your pencil to do drawings and other things, you may need to turn that setting off or use the double tap to switch, which can allow you to go from select and scroll mode into drawing mode. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for a moment here. And that should allow me to now come right in and draw directly on this document, adding anything that I want, a note or anything else. It's really valuable to have the pencil because if you've got an actual document, and we're going to go ahead and do that real quickly here, and you need to annotate that document, you can click the three dots, click Smart Annotation, it'll bring up your markup toolbar, and you can use the pencil to highlight or make notes on anything that you want to say. Just like that. So it's a really powerful tool with a lot of really, really fun options when you start to dig into it. And keep your eye out for the iPad Pages video that I'm going to be putting up on YouTube, which won't have the audio issues, and we'll have a lot more than what we got into here. Let's take some questions.
Sounds good. First one is, how do I add page numbers to my documents?
So here, I just want to tell you guys, like when I'm working on something and I come across something I don't know, I love it. I love it. I couldn't find this. I couldn't find this and I had to hunt and hunt and hunt for it. And it's really, really easy. So when I found it, I was like, oh, I just didn't know where to look. Here's where you do it. You press on the title up at the top, And then from there, you click on Document Options and Document Setup. It's really important that headers and footers are properly turned on. If headers and footers are turned on, you click the More Options button at the bottom here, click where you want your page numbers, and select Page Numbers. Just like that.
Oh, look at that.
And now I can click Done, and we got page numbers. It's super easy once you know where it is. There you go.
Mark wants to know if you need an actual Apple Pencil or can you use another type of stylus to write?
There are many, many different styluses that work on the iPad. There's a lot of them. Logitech makes one called the Crayon, and I would say there's another 5 or 10 that I've worked with. They will work, but what they won't do is integrate into the system in the same way that the Apple Pencil does. It is 100% not a necessity, but in my opinion, the Apple Pencil adds a ton of additional functionality that some of these other styluses don't have. And my favorite part is the ability to take that pencil and just store it right easily on top of your iPad where it connects magnetically and charges. And it's a really good magnetic hold. It will not fall off in your bag or when you're carrying it around, meaning that your pencil's always there. So you 100% can use another stylus or another pencil or pen or whatever you want to call it. But my recommendation is at least try out the Apple Pencil because otherwise you'll be missing features you didn't know were there.
Excellent.
You know, the other thing I'll say about that is the difference between like a Logitech stylus and the Apple Pencil is like 30 bucks. The Logitech stylus isn't like a $10 stylus. And you don't want to get a really clunky old school 1980s stylus because it won't give you a fine line. It'll be a little bit clunky. So you want to get one that's quality. You don't have to do Apple, but you'll find that the average quality ones are about $60 to $80 and the Apple ones like $100 to $120 depending on the model. In my opinion, it just works better, and then I don't need to wonder, where am I going to store this pencil? Because the Logitech Crayon isn't going to fit anywhere. I had one for a while. My son had one, so I've used them.
Bill's asking how to move from page layout to word processing, and how do you know when you're in each?
So interesting. That question came up elsewhere, and I'm not 100% clear on that question. I know that you can move out of the editing mode into the preview mode by clicking that button in the upper right-hand corner that gives you additional tools, and now I'm not in the editing section, but I can come back to it by clicking edit. The other thing I'll talk about is the ability to export, which you can do from the 3 buttons here. Oh, nope, sorry, which you can do from the share button, and you can export and send right here. I'm sure there's another function that question is asking about, but and again, I saw that question earlier today too, Frank. Somebody else sent it in, and I didn't really know how to answer it. So I guess if you can ask that question a little more specifically, maybe I can give you a better answer than that.
Okay. How about tables? Can you create tables and pages?
Absolutely. And the tables button is right up at the top. I just want to remind you, if you're using the iPad vertically, you're not going to see the buttons that you see across the top for me. You're going to see a big plus button. Everything's hidden inside of that. But for here, all I have to do is click the little tables button, choose one of the styles, and it brings it right in. I can then use the little quote marks at the bottom left in order to add additional lines if I need to, or to add additional rows if I need to. I said lines, I meant columns. Columns and rows, yeah. We know what the terminology is. And now here I've got a fully functional table right here. In addition to that, you can also create charts, which is what this little pie graph at the top is for, allowing you to pick any kind of chart and point it to any information inside the document, or if you know what you're doing inside of other documents, to give you a beautiful pie chart or a bar graph super easily with just a simple click.
Nice.
Just like that.
Nice. What about word counts? Is there a way to check word counts?
Glad you asked that. So what I love about the questions is I asked myself all these questions for the last 2 days, so I actually know the answer to that one. That one's underneath here. Where is it? I thought it was under document options. Is it not under document options? Oh, where did I put it? There it is. There it is. Found it. It's under the sidebar view here. Clicking on that sidebar button right here gives you the ability to show the word count. And now the word count shows up right down at the bottom, just like that.
I never knew that existed.
What else you got? We're knocking out questions today. Let's keep moving.
Let's bang them out.
Yeah.
Can you password protect?
Yes, you can password protect. It's under, let's remember where it is because I just made that mistake a second ago. I think it's under document options here. Set password right there. Turn it on, password protect that document.
That's great.
Easy.
It's incredible what they pack into all these different icons and these pull downs.
You know, my wife was sitting next to me last night. We were done with dinner and I pulled out my iPad and she's like, oh, are you going to watch something? I'm like, no, I got to figure out how to use Pages properly so I'm ready for this thing tomorrow. And she looked over my shoulder and watched as I learned. I'm going to tell you guys how I learn new apps. It works like this. What's under this button?
Right.
Oh, what does this do? Oh, cool. Let's hide that. What's under this button? What does that do? Oh, cool. Let's edit it. What's under this button? Oh, cool. What's under this button? My job is to start at the top left and end at the bottom right and click every single thing that I can see and try and figure out what it does and how to use it.
And why it's
And the
there.
thing about Pages that's really can be really complicated is that a lot of the tools exist in two places. They exist in this pop-up menu right here where there's a ton of tools and even more on the right side of them. And they also pop up under that formatting button where you've got the options for formatting your text, your photos, you're creating your style sheets and all those things. So between the format button and the pop-up menu, all of the hidden features are just one or two clicks away.
Bill's giving it another shot.
All right, let me read it. He says, that is the difference when you do newsletters and just the word processor. You need the page layout to do newsletters and text box, and it's different than. So on the phone, I found that function. On the phone, there was a place under the three dots that allowed me to change my style. There was several different options there, and I have not figured out where they are on the iPad, William, but if you make sure Frank gets your information, I will make sure to find that for you, because I was looking earlier. I know exactly what we're talking about now. It's a completely different view, and when I came across it on the phone and went back to the iPad, it wasn't there, and it was really surprising. So I got to do a little more research on that, but I now understand it's about differentiating from the page layout and the words that you're typing, and it's super, super, super helpful on a newsletter. So I totally get why that's important, and I'll have to figure it out and get back to you.
I included my email again, so
You know, I will say something to all of you viewers. I do not know 100% of everything. I can't. Things move too fast. I'm learning as I go on some pieces and digging deep, and I've got systems to learn, but sometimes there's just this little piece where I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And I will always tell you guys, I don't know how to do that, and then I'll figure it out and tell you how I did it.
Well, we appreciate you doing your homework and sitting there on the sofa with your wife and discovering things you haven't learned before.
I mean, the only piece of it is if I used the iPad instead of a computer, I would have already done that. But all these people think that the iPad can be a really great replacement for the computer. And my feeling is if you can replace your computer with an iPad, you must not have known how to use the computer very well, because the functionality of the iPad is amazing, but the functionality of the computer, like 100x that. There are so many things that you can do that are absolutely impossible on the iPad. Working on Pages is something that you can do. So I love that this brought me a brand new tool, because I had always used Pages on the computer because that's where I'm usually writing. But it's awesome that you've got that capability.
I answered a friend
Frank,
of mine.
before we go ahead.
I was just going to say I answered a friend of mine similarly, because he knows he watches what we're doing. He said, yeah, I don't need a Mac anymore. I just do everything on the iPad. And I used the retort that you had just said. Well, it's probably not. It's probably because you don't know enough about your Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to diss anybody,
No.
but if what you're doing is answering emails and looking at websites and making an occasional note or a reminder or photos, you can do that on the iPad. You want to edit a video? You can do it, but it's going to be a little bit harder. There's a lot of things the iPad does, but for someone like me who's generating all sorts of content and creating videos and editing videos and posting and building websites, it's just cumbersome to do that without the keyboard and mouse, in my opinion. But again, coming back to the iPad, I love that what I know now about Pages has upped my uses and given me a whole new tool for the iPad that I would have never uncovered if Jocelyn or whoever it was hadn't asked us to do this video. So if there's something that we haven't talked about that you want to hear us talk about, drop it in the comments section right now because we get our ideas from you. You want to learn something, I will figure it out even if I don't know how. And Manny, going back to you, I've got a whole plan for this next week for me to learn how to use numbers better so I can share that with you and create a video for it. Awesome.
I remember when we got that email, how excited you were. Like, oh, it's a great idea.
I love ideas like that.
Yeah.
Why don't we pull up the workshop link and QR code? Let's talk about that for another moment and call it a day. Actually finish on time for a change.
Yeah, absolutely. I see the registrations pouring in. So, yeah, it's countdown.
Yeah, I'm going to just talk about it for just a moment. I've spent, let's say, 25 years, close to 25 years working as a full-time Mac consultant, helping people, watching over their shoulders, teaching them how to use their phones and their iPads and their computers, and everyone has the same issue. They get lost in rabbit holes on their computer. It happens so quickly. They just wanted to check their latest email, but now they're off on some rabbit hole trail trying to figure out about that sale on at Bloomingdale's. That got in your way, people. You had something to do. You were checking email for a reason. It wasn't shopping time, it was work time. And the same thing happens with text messages. The same thing happens with your address book. You're getting distracted and getting pulled away, and something that should take 5 minutes takes an hour or 2 hours. And then you will say to someone like me, I don't have time to do that, Dylan. And then you will say to me, Dylan, how do you have all the time you have? And I will say, because I don't get caught in the rabbit holes. Come join us tomorrow. Let me teach you how to cover up that rabbit hole and never step in it again. Because whether it's email, messages, or your address book, these are key foundational tools that are necessary for your communications in relationships. Relationships are the key to me, and I use my technology to better relationships. And this is a great way to do that. This workshop's going to change how you do things and save you time immediately. I'm excited to share that info with you guys.
It's great. Yeah, let's end on time today. Anybody that has some questions that we didn't get answered, please email me. As you all know that have emailed me, we get back to everybody. And I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at the workshop. What about you?
Don't close us out. I want to answer a question on the chat before you close us.
Sure.
So John just asked, how do you screenshot a whole web page on the computer? And the answer is not one you're going to like, but I will tell you. On the phone and the iPad, it's really, really easy to do. It's built into the screenshot tool, but on the computer, it's not, which is why I use a third-party screenshot tool on the computer called CleanShot X. CleanShot X is an amazing, valuable screenshot tool, and one of the functions it's got is full screen web pages. And it does it in a beautiful and super easy way. Can I put a link in there, Frank? No, I don't have the ability. Well, I do actually. I'm going to put in a link for an app that I use called SetApp. And SetApp is a subscription that gives you access to hundreds of different apps. I use it all the time, and CleanShot X is one of the apps that exists inside of SetApp. So John, if you're really looking for some better screenshot tools, if they're in your way, take a look at CleanShot X. You can buy it as a standalone app, or check out this link and take a look at SetApp and see all the other tools that are also in there. I talk about SetApp a lot. I'll be making a YouTube video on it soon, but I'm glad I was able to catch that question before Frank cut me off. And now I'm complete.
All right, great. We'll see everybody, or a lot of you, tomorrow. Dylan, I'll see you then. And until next week.
Be well.
All
Happy
right.
computing.